did something really bad that like you shouldn't do if you're ever in my situation, or any situation like this where a loved one is gone, but Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So this is my week 6 through 10 update on boot camp. For those of you that maybe are just joining my channel now, my boyfriend is in boot camp. It is actually, we're going into week 10 for him, but it's week 11 for us because they started their training weeks like a week after. Overall, I have come to the conclusion that my emotional roller coaster that I've been on since boot camp has started has gone kind of like this. First week we started out and it was really hard, and first few weeks it got better, right? So like we were like on an uphill slope. And then the middle few weeks, I'm gonna say probably weeks like 4 through 8, something like that. 4 through 8 have been like plateaued. Like I've been fine. Yes, there have been a few hiccups, there have been a few emotional days and times, but overall it's plateaued. And now that we are in the final weeks of boot camp, meaning as of yesterday, there are exactly 3 weeks until I get to see Dustin again. No longer focusing on like being sad that he's gone or worrying about him. I am focusing on seeing him again. I'm focusing on him finishing boot camp, and I'm just super excited at this point. So let's go all the way back to week 6. Week 6 was super emotional for me for some reason. It was one of those weeks that kind of stuck out like a sore thumb, like I was doing fine, then week 6 happened and then I was fine again. It was so weird. I think that I had been harboring a lot of emotions and not really letting them out for different reasons. Number 1, I didn't want to bother people. Number 2, I'd been super busy with camp and with different summer things that I really hadn't been thinking about it that much. Anyway, anything that I was harboring up until week 6, it just came out during week 6 for sure. I hadn't heard from Dustin since week 4, and then during week 6, I believe it was either Thursday or Friday, I finally received another letter from him, and this is what happened. Hey everyone, so unfortunately I don't actually have a video from week 6. I did take a video. I don't know what happened to them. I took 2, and also like what is this lighting right now? So it's just like Disappointment City right now. But basically I just opened his letter, and he just talked a lot about how God is the realest thing to him, and he's just really made a huge connection with God, which was so wonderful to hear. It was the best thing that I could have heard at that time. So I got his letter Thursday, and then I was thinking about him the next day during work when I was trying to find my dress for his graduation. I did end up buying a dress, but then that dress ended up not working. That's a different story. That weekend my family was actually out of town for a camping trip, and I couldn't go because I had work, and so there was really no one to like vent these emotions to, so I ended up recording this video.
Give anything just to talk to you right now for just like a few minutes, and to just like be with you in person, just like literally just for a few minutes. That's all. And if I did get just like a few minutes to talk to you, I would probably tell you that I've missed you like crazy, obviously. And these weeks have been so hard. Honestly, I put on a strong face, and yeah, some days are better than others, and I do have good days, and I've had such good times this summer. Like, I've had a really good summer, but it's like it's been so hard, mostly internally, and I don't feel like I can just go around talking about it all the time and like crying all the time, because I don't want to live in this sorrow, and I don't want to live in this negativity all the time. But it has been hard, but I wouldn't trade it for for anything. I'm so glad that this is happening. Honestly, like, I think that every single minute and hour and day apart from you and like you involved in what you're doing is good for not only you individually but for us as a couple, and it's good for me too individually. It's helping me grow as a person, so I wouldn't trade literally anything. I wouldn't. I'm so excited to be with you again. I know that we won't get a long time to see each other again once you graduate, but I'll take literally any time that you can give me when you leave again. I want to be able to call you and FaceTime you when you can, and I want to show you around my new dorm and introduce you to the people I'm going to be living with next year, and to show you around my new little area that I'm living in and that I will be living in for the next year, because it's weird that you don't know where I'm living. It's weird that you haven't seen where I'm living, I guess. It's weird that I haven't seen where you've been living. I hope that you are continuing to just hang on to God with everything that you have. And just know that in the darkest places and in the hardest times, like, he's literally always with you, and he just loves you so much. And everything that he's doing right now is for your good. So just, like, lean into him so much. I love you and I miss you a lot.
So I was super emotional that night. I did end up having a friend over and we kind of talked through things just a little bit, but honestly I just really needed to get those emotions out more than anything. I did have a discussion with my boss during that week, and she had been getting some weird vibes from me and like wondering if maybe I didn't like working at my work anymore, and I was like, no, that's not the case at all. We did come to the conclusion that it's probably a mixture of a lot of things, but one of those things is probably she was just sensing some sadness from Dustin. So literally my biggest takeaway, I thought that I had this down, but literally my biggest takeaway is, like, you cannot harbor emotion. You can't keep it inside. Like, you can, but then week 6 happens and you just have to let those things out, no matter how embarrassing it is, no matter how many times you feel like you've talked about it already and you feel like you're getting annoying. You're not. Just talk about it and let it out, because it's so helpful. Week 7 was so busy that I literally just didn't have time to think about anything else except for what was happening. I actually did do a vlog that weekend. Is it? Yeah, it's up on my channel at this moment, so you can go and click the link in my description box if you would like to go watch that. I'm not going to be talking a lot about week 7. Week 7 was just like super busy. I had kids' church camp in the morning, and then I had to go right to work, so it was a lot like week 4. On Friday, I actually got more of his letters. He sent me 2 letters, and he sent his friend Matt 1 letter because he got his stuff thrown everywhere and he lost his address. When the recruits don't pack their stuff right, if they don't have all of their stuff in order, if they don't have like their bed sheets at 90-degree angles, like if everything isn't perfect, then the drill instructors will like mess everything up. And so that was my first thought, was that maybe he didn't pack everything right and so he got his stuff thrown everywhere. Dustin also sent me this little paper with a list of like 10 marital needs. He sent me a paper that he had filled out of his top 5 marital needs out of the 10, and then he sent me a paper to fill out that I was supposed to number my top 5 marital needs out of the 10. And like my first thought when I got that was like, where did he get that? Like, how does he just have time to like print things out? But I did go to lunch with his mom the next week, and she said that people in the military, obviously, like, there's a super high divorce rate because it's super hard to be married to someone in the military. So they probably like do classes on like relationships and marriage and stuff in boot camp, which I don't know. I don't know if that's actually the case. That's what his mom told me. That was her like theory behind like how he got that like sheet of paper. But anyway, week 7 was crazy. I got sick on Tuesday. I didn't end up being sick for more than Tuesday, but it was still like, I don't know, unnecessary. And on Thursday, I was parked in the parking lot and somebody pulled my bumper off with their truck. They got their back bumper of their truck hooked on my front bumper. I don't really exactly know how it happened, but basically it was like stress that I didn't need. So it was just like a crazy stressful week, especially because of my car. And then Friday of week 7 came and it was so amazing. I went to breakfast with my best friends Dylan and Jojo, and then I actually went to lunch with Dustin's mom. I just mentioned that a couple minutes ago, and I went to dinner with one of my best friends, Sydney. So at lunch with Dustin's mom, we talked about a lot of different things. We obviously talked about him and we talked about our family and everything. And we started talking about this like idea that I already am aware of, and like it's in the back of my mind a lot, but I really don't like to confront it that often. Basically, she said to me, she said, I love you and I would love if you were my future daughter-in-law one day, right? But we just don't know, like we don't know. This time last year, I thought that I was going to be married to a completely different person in a couple years. And now, you know, I'm in this situation. It's crazy to think about. And we just never know, like, where life may take us. So that was kind of like her point of, you know, telling me that. It was something that I needed to hear and a reminder that I needed to have, but it is really hard because you don't want to think about breaking up with your significant other, especially when you're just like in this situation, like all you're thinking about is like seeing them again. So that was kind of hard, but we started talking about what the next few months are gonna look like, and I had no idea what the next few months are gonna look like. And next week we're actually gonna find out like where he's going to be going after his 10-day leave. So he's gonna find out. I don't know if we're gonna find out or not, but he's gonna find out. It was just very refreshing to see his mom and to have a conversation with her about him. She's one of those people that obviously like is not going to get annoyed with me talking about him too much because she's his mom. But it was just so refreshing. Is it week? Yeah, I think I just talked about week 8, right? I'm losing track. Week 9 was like literally so boring that I'm not even going to talk about it. Week 10, this past week, my grandparents were in town, and going into this week I did think that my grandparents being in town was going to be a good distraction for me to keep my mind off Dustin, but it ended up not really being a huge distraction. I had a lot of trouble sleeping this week. I was up late like thinking about him being back and just being super excited for that. I did something really bad that like you shouldn't do if you're ever in my situation, or any situation like this where a loved one is gone, but so I'll just tell you what I did so that you don't do it. So basically I googled does your Marine change a lot in boot camp, or like how much did your Marine boyfriend change in boot camp? And I was looking for reassurance, and I started reading all these horror stories. This guy was like a meathead, like a literal like muscle head meathead guy that had joined the Marines, and he was like saying all these things like, hoorah, Semper Fi forever, like I'm so glad I joined the Marines, and if you're having doubts about joining the Marines, you need to just suck it up and not be a sissy. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't deal with him if he's like that. And then I read this other one about this girlfriend that like he completely ignored her when she got back, so I was like freaking out. I texted my friend, I was like, he's gonna be so different when he comes back, and she was like, Maddie, no he's not, you're just reading the worst of the worst. So the dress that I had bought back in week 6 was not gonna work, so my lovely grandmother actually took me shopping for a new dress. I did actually get one. I'm not gonna show it because I'll show it in my like graduation vlog, but basically like before we went and got the dress, I had googled what do you wear to like a military graduation, Marine graduation, just because like I've never been to one of these before, so I need some context. I found this video. I may or may not link it down below for those of you that would like to see it. It's this girl, it was from a few years ago, but she was talking about like her boyfriend's in the Marines too, and she was talking about like her experience with like going to family day and seeing him for the first time, and she was like, once we got away from that place we just picked up where we left off, and it was like so reassuring. And I was looking back at their like more recent videos, and they're actually married now. I'm not saying that that is going to be the experience that me and Dustin have, but it was at least reassuring that not every story that you hear of like boyfriends coming back from boot camp are horror stories. So that was so comforting. In terms of Dustin, his family and I both agree that his letters are so much more positive, and he sounds like he's doing much better, getting more comfortable, and the DIs are being a little bit nicer to him. So yeah. Alright, that about wraps up my week 6 through 10 update. We have about 2.5 more weeks until I get to see him again, so I probably won't do another update video, but I will be posting a vlog. I will hopefully be vlogging like family day and graduation and all of that kind of stuff, if they let me. I don't know. We'll figure it out once we get there, cross that bridge when we get there. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any more questions or if you have advice or anything, you know, boyfriend in boot camp related, please post it down below, message me. My social media will be down below, and I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching, and have